Hi there guys, welcome to this gear demo. My name is Phil Short, thanks for checking in on my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be checking out this awesome Hamstead Artist 60 with built-in reverb and tremolo. Now this amp is essentially a clean pedal platform style amp, but it'll also do a whole wide range of overdrive tones as well. So it's EL34 loaded, and it's got the standard kind of preamp valves in there that you'd expect. It's completely hand wired, and it's got what I'm assuming is a valve driven spring reverb and also a valve driven tremolo circuit as well. All of those are foot switchable. Here's the trusted little foot switch, nice and rugged, just plugs in with a TRS cable, so you can hook that up on your pedal board. You can also use the TRS out with a switcher like the G2 or the Boss ES8, something like that. The amp for today's demo is going into a 2 notes Torpedo Live, and I'm actually just using that for the load box function, and I'm using the Wall of Sound plugin by 2 Notes Audio as well. And we've got 2 Creamback 65 impulse responses from the Celestion website. One of them is a Ribbon 121 and the other is an SM57 as well, so kind of give you a very, very close representation of the speakers that usually come in the cabinets with these heads. Really simple controls along the front. If we go from the top here, we've got an indication light that the power is on, we've got master volume, we've got the tremolo circuit, we've got the speed, and we've got the depth. We've got the reverb, we've got the tone, and the depth. The depth is essentially just the volume, how much of that effect you're hearing. And then we've got the EQ section, very simple, just bass and treble control. And the EQ is really interactive, as we'll hear in a minute. So depending on where we set those will affect how much mid-range is kind of coming through. And then we've got a gain control here as well. So this will be whether we're setting the amp to have clean headroom or whether we're getting it to overdrive. We've also got this toggle bright switch as well, so we've got 3 positions of kind of top end sparkle. In the middle is neutral, at the bottom is slightly brighter, and in the top is the most amount of brightness, which is where we currently have the setting. And then we've got a high and low impedance input as well. So high is your standard guitar input. But if you've got particularly hot pickups and you want even more clean headroom than you're able to get because your output from your guitar is quite loud, you can use the low input as well. But I'm using a Friedman Vintage S today, and these have got vintage spec style single coils and humbucker in it, so they're not very loud at all, so we're kind of just going into the regular input. You'll also notice we've got some dip switches as well. This is just to turn on the different features on the amplifier, which are all foot switchable. And you'll also notice that we've got this voice setting here. Now that is when we switch this dip switch on, is to affect the mid-range input on the amplifier. So we can boost that mid-range setting by 2 dB, 3.5 dB and 5 dB. So that'll essentially affect how mid-rangey it sounds, and it kind of pulls the amp out of a Fender style character more towards kind of a Vox AC30 character as well. So it works particularly well with overdrives, so it can work really good as kind of a volume boost or a saturation boost as well. My favourite setting is the 2 dB setting. It's very subtle and it just kind of helps to drive the amp a little bit more, which is great. So we'll experiment with that in a bit as well. It also has a line level effects loop, which essentially means the effects loop's just got a ton of headroom in it, so effects remain super, super clean. And if you wanted to use like a volume boost or something like that in the loop to give you more volume for a lead section in a song, something like that, it's not going to colour the tone too much or kind of overdrive the power section too hard or kind of change anything drastically. So that works really, really well. What other features are there that we need to talk about? I think that's everything feature-wise. I'll show kind of a back panel shot as well, so you can see the back of it. Brilliant. Okay, well let's go through some basic sounds. This is what the amp sounds like completely clean. Okay, so that's with no compression, no effects, no nothing. We've just got a little bit of reverb in there, and I've got it set for like a clean high headroom tone at the moment. So let's hear what that sounds like if we use a little bit of compression. sounds a little bit fuller, got a little bit more of the lows. Works great for this guitar because it's so low output, so it just kind of gives the bottom end a little bit of a push. So let's just take a quick look at the EQ section then. This is what it sounds like with the bass on full. And if I take all the bass out. So 12 o'clock is about neutral. Same with the treble. Just kind of dial it into taste for your guitar, really, is what I'd say. If you want it to sound a little bit more mid-rangey, then you can back these off. And it has a little bit more kind of mid-range thunk, a little bit creamier, a little bit thicker, so that might work great for the overdriven tones. If we want it to sound more glassy, boost them like this. That gives it more of a hi-fi sort of character, so I quite like it just straight up at 12 o'clock. It feels really even, really kind of nicely dialed in. Just at the neutral position. So let's hear that sound now with the voice control on. So we're in the 2 dB setting at the moment. So really subtle in the 2 dB setting. You can hear there's just a tiny little bit more mid-range. But let's just change that setting up. So I'm just going to flick it at the back to the 3.5 dB setting. We should hear it more pronounced. You can hear it breaking up a lot more, and if I put it into the 5 dB position in the middle, really mid-range throaty, and you can kind of hear it getting into more of that AC30 sort of territory there. So next along we've got this reverb circuit, which sounds really, really lush. It's on just subtly at the moment, you've heard it already, but if I put it on full, so I guess that could be kind of good if you wanted to do like surf tones or something. I can't really do that sort of style. But there it is, completely washed out. So the tone control is really effective. All the way to the left, it's completely dark. And all the way to the right. Let's check out the tremolo circuit. So there's the sound of the tremolo. Let's hear what it's like all the way round. So some really cool kind of psychedelic rock tones you could get with that. Maybe let's try that with a little bit of overdrive. So a really fun sound, that could be really cool. Let's hear what it's like with the speed, much more aggressive. Really interesting tone actually. Let's just push that a little bit more. So really versatile tremolo circuit, you could really get some interesting combinations there. There's loads of headroom in the speed, all the way around it's going to be way too fast. Kind of sounds like a machine gun, but you know, it's cool to have too much and then be able to dial it in exactly to the sweet spot that you want for your particular track that you're working on. The way I've got the amp set up is as a fantastic pedal platform right now. So I'm just going to play you a couple of overdrives so you can hear how it sounds with stuff stacking and with the delay in the loop. We're going to start off with our first pedal being from J-Rocket Audio. This is the Majestic, which is essentially a JTM 45, kind of set sort of low, medium gain-ish. So it sounds like this. Great kind of rhythm tone. And now I'm going to just boost that a little bit with the boost side of the D&M drive. And I've got the gain set at 3 o'clock, so really low, and the level at about 10 o'clock. So it's just hitting the front end of that just gently. Okay, so I'm just going to stick on mix side of the D&M drive as well, so we can hear a more high gain sort of sound, and I'm going to put the timeline in the loop. So let's have a listen to that. So really cool sound, like handles the high gain stuff really well. Everything's really clear, and often with high gain tones going into amplifiers, the sound can be a little bit, can feel like a little bit flubby and things in the bottom end. That doesn't happen with this amp, which is obviously ideal and super amazing. So the next thing that I want to play for you guys as well is what a preamp would sound like in this. So on the board I've got a Kraken V4 by Victory Amplifiers, which is just the preamp section of the Kraken amp in a pedal, and it's basically slaving the power section off this. So it's the Kraken going into an EL34 power section. But let's have a listen to what that sounds like. And this is also on channel 1, and it's got the D&M drive just gently hitting the front end of that as well. Just change that level there. So that sounds amazing, handles that really well. I probably just want to push the volume just a little bit on the Kraken actually, just so it matches. But a proper, authentic, genuine kind of 80s hot-rodded rock tone, which sounds colossal. Now let's check out what the built-in drive sounds sound like on this on their own. So we're back to nothing in front of the amp, and we're in the 60 watt mode. I'm going to crank the gain all the way around on full and just drop the master to compensate, and this is what we've got sound-wise. Let's boost the master just a touch. Let's hear that just with an overdrive in the front. So this is the boost side of the D&M drive. Super fat chunky tones, really nice, and because we've got this fantastic effects loop as well, it'll sound great with a bit of delay. Very nice, really cool stuff. Let's hear what it's like if we want to overdrive it on its own and we use one of the low power modes. So let's drop it down to 20 watts on the back, and I'm going to need to compensate the volume. You can hear it's a lot quieter. I'm just going to turn the reverb down a bit. So the power section is working really hard now. It's getting a little bit flubby in the bottom end. But But just pulling that preamp gain back a little bit really helps with that. But we can get into some really kind of sludgy fuzz style tones now. Even some of that silliness is starting to become a little bit more achievable. Let's hear it in the 7-watt setting. Again, a lot quieter now, so if I really pump that master volume. Really starting to get more fuzzy. Really cool kind of thick blues rock sort of tone. So super awesome. So I'm just going to stick it back on the 60-watt mode, and we're going to need to back that right the way down, back to there. You can hear it's way less compressed, much more open sounding. So a real range of kind of overdrive tones that are in this amp as well. So it's really a really impressive single channel head. It's 5 out of 5 from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Go and check one out. My name is Phil Short. Please make sure you subscribe and like the channel. And you can also head over to Facebook, Phil Short Guitarist, or Instagram as well, Phil Short Guitarist. I look forward to seeing you there too. Take care guys, I'll see you next time.